Well, today is the birthday of the great champion of justice, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You know, most of his work happened in far-off places like Montgomery, Birmingham, and Chicago.
But there was one sunny Sunday in the spring of 1959 when Reverend King traveled to the Eastern Shore to give a commencement address. We've got a double dose of Jim Duffy for Throwback Thursday. He's back with another story. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Double the Duffy.
Double the Duffy.
Double.
Now by
the poor viewers.
No, this is a double treat. In 1959, Reverend King was pretty well established. So if he was coming to the Eastern Shore, that was kind of a big deal, wasn't it?
It was he was a big name. So he'd already been through the Montgomery bus boycott with Rosa Parks and all that. He'd written books that were like on the bestseller list and done these other campaigns. He was 30 years old.
Wow.
30 years old, he'd done all that, and he's getting invited to give commencement speeches at universities at the age of 30. So you'd think it would be a big deal, but it kind of, as far as the media went, it really wasn't. Which I have mixed feelings about, because how much coverage do we really give commencement addresses when people come and give speeches?
Right.
But on the other hand, here we are 75 years later going, I wonder what Martin Luther King said to those people in Princess Anne at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
Do we know?
We only have like a couple little snippets from a newspaper article that was in the Salisbury paper. He talked some about how the world was in the process of changing, and all the trouble that was going on was just a natural, to be expected sign of change. He talked about the history of slavery. He talked about military service in an interesting way. He talked about how during World War I and World War II, a lot of black men had risked their lives for the country, and then they came home and they got treated like second-class citizens. And he sort of was saying that that was kind of a foundation for the feelings of the movement that he was leading, an important thing. And of course, he told students to be strong in their faith life and in their family life and in their work life and all that. So we really don't know all that much about what he said. The university, which is still called Maryland Teachers College back then. But the university has something up on its website today where they interviewed some students who were there and who got their degrees when he was on the stage. They had some interesting things to say. One of them said that he never, once he shook Reverend Dr. King's hand and got his diploma, that his thought was he'd never wash that hand again. I hope he changed his mind.
That's good.
Another woman was struck by how short he was.
Oh, really?
So yeah, he's 5'7", and she's thought of him as this big, giant civil rights figure. And then he shows up and he's down here. And another woman talked about how his voice had a power. It kind of made her insides vibrate, you know, when he was speaking. I think we maybe know that from just watching recordings of his speeches too. And the last one guy that was really interesting said that he talked about faith, and he defined faith. This is kind of an apocryphal thing. I don't think Dr. King made it up, but he defined faith as being at the top of a stairway and taking the first step down even though you can't see the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I define faith. And that's the one that kind of made me think about his birthday and the holiday next Monday is kind of, you know, a lot of people followed him on that journey. You know? He got up and he gave these really inspiring speeches, and a lot of people kind of got behind him, both physically in places like Montgomery and then metaphorically in a lot of other places, including here on the Eastern Shore and Cambridge and Princess Anne and Chestertown and every place where the movement made a big difference.
Yeah.
They all took that little step of faith with him, and maybe the holiday kind of honors everybody who stepped behind him as well as the man himself.
Yes, and it's good that we take time to honor the man.
Amen.
Jim, thank you so much. Always good to see you.